Some old white lady who lost her election to the greatest president of our generation has said something. People is reacting. The Grift Report starts now.
2, 1, boom. Hotep Jesus.
Of all the Jesuses I know, he's the Hotepiest. Social scientist and YouTube host, Hotep Jesus.
How the fuck do you get a name like Hotep Jesus?
The one and only Hotep Jesus.
Ryan Sharp, better known to the world as Hotep Jesus.
Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Somebody said, "What do you think you are? Some kind of Hotep Jesus?"
Ooh,
and
that's
I was
good.
Just like, ooh, that's sexy. Yes, I do think I'm Hotep Jesus.
Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Oh, this a real Hotep brother.
Happy Friday. We made it, y'all. Happy Friday. It's about to be the weekend. I know some of y'all working. About to be off, relaxing on the weekend. Congratulations, you made it. You're one of those wage employees. I envy you in many ways. Many ways I don't, but in many ways I do. Definitely envy you guys. Amazing contract you guys have with these corporations to, you have an important job. You do have an important job. You know, we don't want to discredit your job. You know, you do. But man, it's good to just have money always just coming in. Cash flow is king. Don't ever let these entrepreneurs. I'm one of the few entrepreneur mentors, like I mentor entrepreneurs. I'm one of the few entrepreneur mentors that will tell you, keep your job.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
The rest of them I'd be like, I'll quit your job. And I mean, there is some truth to that. You know. But that's not the route for everybody. That's not just a blanket statement, you know. It comes a time period in a person's life. It's not even based upon the person itself. It just more matters where they are, you know, financially, what their obligations are. Because, you know, telling somebody who got 2 kids and shit and a wife to quit their job and go be an entrepreneur, that doesn't quite make sense when they're making, you know, fairly decent money, they're getting by, whatever. So, but the flip side to that is, if you're able to do it, it kind of forces you to have to perform. So it brings out a different type of drive in you because it's like, yo, rent due next month. You got to have that money, you know, so the business better be popping. So, you know, a lot can happen in a little bit of time. So yeah, shout out to the people with jobs. I'm happy you got the weekend off. Hold on, let me sip my tea. I got a little bit of moringa tea with honey and green tea and shit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think YouTube putting ads on my videos. Hold on a second. Let me see. I want to see what videos they're monetizing because usually all of my stuff is yellow. All right. Channel violations. Yeah, I got a warning. Thank you. Okay, so wow. They're all yellow. Okay. They're all yellow. All right. But they just show me ads when I watch my own videos. Okay. I just wanted to check on that. So yeah, I highly advise everyone, keep your job. Keep your job. What you want to do is you want to milk your job. Especially when you have, I mean, it depends on the type of job you have. Some jobs you can't, right? Like blue collar work, you know, working in a restaurant, that type of stuff, you can't really get a side hustle going while you're running around the kitchen and doing stuff. But if you got a little bit of downtime, for example, if you're a security guard or you're a secretary, you work front desk or something, you know, instead of being on the phone doing bullshit with your spare time, you know, that's when you should be, you know, nursing your business. So, you know, it's technically stealing your employer's work, your employer's time, but at the same time, it's like you're doing it anyway because you're playing around on Facebook or whatever. So you might as well be building something. And it would make sense sometimes to make a companion to, you know, the business you work for, just in case they find out like, well, hey, look, we can get money together, you know. So, you know, you want to explore those options. See, Jabari knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, Jabari's you know, his family owns a restaurant. He's doing the correct thing, holding it down, you know. But there's not really much time to really get your side gig moving when you run a restaurant. It's just not. It's just not. It's a lot. It's a lot you got to keep your eyes on. A lot of moving parts. Everything from, cashing out a waiter to replacing one of the beer kegs, soda machines and whatnot. And yeah, it can get hectic. So yeah, keep your job. Keep your job. Speaking of jobs, if you want to get a little side hustle going, Master Focus, we got that one popping. You know what I'm saying? We got that popping. Affiliate link in the description box below if you want to join the affiliate program. If I could find it on the screen. Yeah, I can't find it. Hold on. Actually, I don't want to change the screen size. But anyway, if you hit the link in the description box below, it will take you there. You can sign up, sell Master Focus. A lot of great news coming on that front. If you guys been paying attention to the mobile version of the website, we've made some updates, and I'll be talking about those with my locals community and the logic behind investing in tech when you're building a brand. So we've invested some money and hired a developer to do some things. Yeah. So what's the URL for this? Oh, pages/earn. Okay. So it's pages. I have to go to pages/earn. And I think Alex fixed the what's the name already. How do I hide that on? I didn't look at that. I didn't look at the whatchamacallit. Hold on. Let's bring this in. So when you go to the website, you don't have it on the desktop version, but on the mobile version, if you hit the earn button, trymasterfocus.com, you hit the earn button, has information here. You can read that, hit the start earning button, boom, boom, set expectations, and it'll bring you right here, join our affiliate program. And then you fill it out. You can scroll down, fill it all out. Make sure you fill out your social medias too. If you don't fill out your social medias, we not approving your shit. Website, social medias, anybody submitting without a social medias will automatically get kicked out. Unless I know you. Like if I recognize the name and I know who you are, and it's like, oh, okay, I know who that is. So let's be mindful of that. Let's be mindful of that when we're filling out that form. So yeah, it's a chance to earn 25% on sales. Some old white lady said something. I want to just get this out the way because I haven't watched the video. You know me. I'm not watching this bullshit. But it's trending. What is it? Trending. She's trending number 3 now. I don't know why people care what this lady has to say. I see AK Kamara grifting. We're gonna play his video. We're gonna play AK video because I see him out here grifting. He's probably watching this show right now. What is this? Is this the clip everybody's acting stinky about? All right, let's go to the clip. This is just terrible. I give a shit what this lady got to say. Okay, here we go.
Very strong partisans in both parties in the past, and we had very bitter battles over all kinds of things, gun control and climate change and the economy and taxes. But there wasn't this little tail of extremism wagging the dog of the Republican Party as it is today. Mm-hmm. And sadly, so many of those extremists, those MAGA extremists, take their marching orders from Donald Trump, who has no credibility left by any measure. He's only in it for himself. He's now defending himself in civil actions and criminal actions. And when do they break with him? Because at some point, maybe there needs to be a formal deprogramming of the cult members, but something needs to happen. And how do you? Very strong.
So y'all mad because Hillary says she's going to get y'all in line? Is this why? Because that's what she said right here. She going to get y'all in line. Miss Super Predator.
To be a formal deprogramming of the cult members, but something.
A formal deprogramming of the cult members. Damn. Jonah, where's Jonah at? They going, what is it? Ein Volk? Is it Ein Volk? I think it's Ein Volk. Yeah, Ein Volk, Ein Reich, Ein Führer. Yo, she just went full Nazi Germany. Ein Volk, Ein Reich, Ein Führer. They telling you who you is. And y'all freaking out. But y'all been knew this lady was a demon. Everybody know Hillary Clinton's a demon. Who don't know that? What did the Blaze say? Let me see what the Blaze caption is, because the Hodge twins, they snatched it off the Blaze. Let me see. Hold on. Hillary Clinton calls for Trump supporters. Okay, so they just quoted her. And then what did the Hodge twins say? Tyrants love re-education camps. No. My issue is, why is this news? Like, why? She's grifting. She's obviously grifting. The lady's obviously grifting. Like, nobody paying her no mind. Fuck Hillary. She's a distraction. He's mad because Trump winning. Let's go to AK's take. I don't give a fuck what Hillary Clinton got to say. AK grifting.
I can't believe
Oh,
my
how
eyes
you
and ears.
AK, how you grifting with a 4-minute video? Where they do that at?
I just watched one of the most deranged and unhinged political takes from a political Democrat elite establishment leader. And I need you to listen with your own ears and see with your own eyes.
Sadly, so many of those extremists, those MAGA, when do they make?
America First policies are in a cult and they need to be deprogrammed. Understand something very, very clear. The people like me that believe in America First and we think that Donald Trump is the best avatar to deliver America First policies, we don't take orders from Trump. We have values and beliefs that we uphold. And the purpose of re-education camps or deprogramming is to change your thought process. It's not that we believe that Donald Trump is the king savior of all of humanity. That's not what we
AK doing way too much mansplaining.
believe. Maybe there's like a 1%, 2%, but that's people everywhere of every political persuasion. You're going to find die-hard fanatics.
He got Reagan in the background. Who else he got back there?
But the vast and
who's that? Clarence Thomas, Soul.
We don't work.
I love capitalism. He got the full grift going on. He got the flag in the back, flag on the hat.
America be strong again. Have America not be taken advantage of. Have America assert its sovereignty in the world. That is what we believe. Guess what country currently has deprogramming re-education programs? That's right, none other than the People's Republic of China, which is the Communist Party of China. This isn't the first time that someone on the left has called for Trump supporters to be deprogrammed or re-educated. But this is the first time that a Democrat leader that is part of the ruling elite establishment of the Democrat Party has came out and said this publicly. So what's the point in me talking about this and wanting you to see this? It's so that you understand what is at stake in this next election. It is my belief and conviction that the 2024 election will be the most consequential and important election in American history that will decide the future and fate of this country. Do we allow leftist authorities?
You got to fix your volume, AK.
Total control.
Plug your headphones into something.
Or do we allow freedom to reign? Even
if
you're like, I don't like this,
not the
this,
wireless
that, or
joint.
the
You
other
get the wireless.
policy, it's the idea. Do you believe that people should be deprogrammed? Like, listen, I absolutely loathe Marxism, but I have never once said, if you're a Marxist or you're woke, we should send you to a re-education camp.
I've said it. I've said it before. I'm gonna stop him right there. I've said that before. I you know what? I'm gonna tell you when I said it. I said it on Gutfeld, but it didn't make the edit, and I'm glad it didn't make the edit. We all would have got canceled, because that's how everybody would have reacted. I said that before. I said that right on Gutfeld. I said, man, you guys send these people some re-education camps. That shit did not make past edit. Somebody was like, why'd you cut him off? What did you say right there? I'm like, you don't want to know what I said right there. Oh, man. Hey, look, I told y'all, man, like, I got a love-hate relationship with communism. I got a love-hate. Niggas be like, Hotep Jesus, you got communism in the United States. You told us you hated communism. I said, I know. I like it my style, though. I like it my style. All these weird motherfuckers, round them up. Shit. Round them up. It's time to figure out where they going, because they not staying here. They not staying here. In Hotepistan, they got to go. We rounded them all up. You can't do no weirdo shit in Hotepistan. Everybody knows they genders. Okay? There's no confusion. Everything else has to be extradited. Black female liberals will not be allowed. They will need they at least need a year or two of, first of all, they need some help. They need therapy. We're going to have therapy available for black female liberals before they get their citizenship in Hotepistan. But they will need to be reintroduced to society with a different mind frame, a more Hotep mind frame. Okay? We have to bring resolve and peace to the individual before they can receive the information. These motherfuckers is broken. They need a hug. They need a hug, you know? So we're going to sentence them to 1,000 hugs. But AK grifting hard over here, man. 4 minutes, AK? Man, you supposed to say what you guys saying. 60 seconds, bro.
To be deprogrammed.
I got time
That's
for all of this.
absurd. But on the left, they are saying that, aren't they? And that should be all the proof that you need to understand truly what is at stake.
You know what is at stake? You know what is at stake? Steph Colonel said Project Rook going to be in charge of deprogramming the Hotepistan. Facts.
Oh, this a real Hotep brother.
Facts. What up, Montoya? Jay Pylon, what up? Jabari, what up? Sorry about last night. My internet went out. I don't know. Well, the internet went out. It went out the first time, and I was like, I'm not going to be bummed about this. It'll come back on, and I just waited. And it came back on, and everything was fine. And then it went back off. And I was like, oh, okay. This is what you're going to do. And then it never came back on. All night, it just was going off and on. It was doing weird shit. I don't know. Today, I guess it's working fine. So I haven't let it bother me because for whatever reason. But I wish we could have did the show last night. I do, however, want to highlight that the show kept cutting off every time Uncle Hotep wanted to talk about dating white women. I do want to note that. When we left that topic, internet was working fine. As soon as he started talking about dating white women, boop, shit cut right off. Shit cut right off. I don't even know why we paying these companies, man. They can't give me internet. I don't even know why we paying them. Said the P word is banned from now on in the chat. Which P word? Talking about, black women broke T.O.'s heart. Oh my Lord. I'm not even gonna talk about it because the internet gonna start acting up again. All right, so let's come back. So yeah, everybody's all in a hullabaloo about her, but let me show you what we got in the Grift Report. Let me show you some real news. Things need to keep they third eye open for. Ohio. Remember I told you about Ohio? Keep your eyes on Ohio. Do not, when you go through Ohio, I'm telling you, it turns into like another dimension. It says new. An elementary school teacher, a college professor, and a pair of U.S. Air Force members are among 160 people charged in a statewide human trafficking crackdown in Ohio. Hey, when you in Ohio, keep your head on a swivel. When you in Ohio, keep your head on a swivel. I'm telling you, I went out there. It's very strange. It's a very strange place. I did not sleep well. It gave human trafficking vibes. Now that we've seen this news, now I know what to put with Ohio. Human trafficking vibes. Let's take a look at this tweet. I don't know, if it's real or not, doctored, but it appears to be real. So let's take a look at it. It says here, my boy works for a bank. This is Akbar Shakur. There he is. All right. So he posted this. Said, my boy works for a bank. He's at a conference right now. I won't mention details, but look at the pic he sent me right now. Ha, yes. Then he tags Mr. Man XRP. Okay. What do we see here? Looks like a presentation between Visa and MasterCard and domestic CBDCs. So this looks to be, somebody taking a picture with their cell phone of some sort of projection presentation. And I'm going to try and read some of this here, of what I can read, what's legible. Learning by doing is critical to digital dollar development, Visa exec says. MasterCard committed to making CBDCs as easy to use as money. I'm going to read that again. MasterCard committed to making CBDCs as easy to use as money. I want to search that. Hold on a second. I want to search that. Because this looks to be to making CBDC. Now let's see. Yeah, I figured this was an article. I figured this came from an article, right? So let me bring y'all into my view. Let me update you. Hold on. All right. So you should see that now. Says here, MasterCard committed to making CBDCs as easy to use as money. MasterCard is looking to support central banks with its central bank digital currency program, right? Okay, cool. So this is not new, right? I believe this article here was published, September? Yeah, September 10th, right? So we've covered this before, right? Let's see. So we have the MasterCard. And now here, they put existing relationships with central banks, MasterCard and Visa, MasterCard partners, Ripple and Consensus. Now, we covered Ripple earlier this week, right? Because Ripple, like I told you, they're well connected, like BlackRock, Fed connected. Something really Rothschildy going on with them. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it, but something smells like Illuminati with Ripple. And we spoke about this earlier this week. So funny this stuff comes up. Consensus, but Ripple's, many countries are using Ripple as a backbone for the CBDC. It's their coding. That's their blockchain technology, distributed ledger technology. All right, fluency and Fireblocks, whatever the hell that means. I don't know what that means. Visa partners, Microsoft, Agro Token. What does that say? Syncla? I don't know what that is. Syncla. Visa use case, payments in Brazil. That's interesting. Brazil's there because we were just talking about, I think it was last week, Brazil was in the news for CBDCs. So You know what's funny about this is everybody is at the Fed. Actually, let's pull that article up so you can see it yourself, right? So, Fed, Congress, CBDC might be the search. And it says right here, Federal Reserve. Let's go to the federalreserve.gov. That's perfect. Let's just use them. We don't gotta go to no. Let's go right to the horse's mouth, right? Bring it up. Go right to the horse's mouth. What the Fed say? What did the Fed say? Whoops. All right. Okay, right here. Number 3. Has the Fed decided to create a CBDC? Right? It says right here. Federal Reserve issued. Okay, this was the document. We did a presentation on money and payments, U.S. dollar, in the age of digital transformation. We covered that already. As a first step in fostering a broad and transparent public dialogue about CBDCs, the paper is not intended to advance any. Here it is right here. The paper is not intended to advance any specific policy outcome, and no decisions have been made at this time. You see, it says this. The Federal Reserve has made no decision on issuing a central bank digital currency, and would only proceed with the issuance of a CBDC with an authorizing law. Right. So they say, no, we haven't made a decision on this. We haven't made a decision on this, right? But we come right here. It seemed like everybody done made a decision on this. Seemed like everybody else seemed like they know, like, look, we're ready to press go on this. Everybody's ready to go. But the Fed said, oh, no, we haven't made a decision on this. We wouldn't dare do such a thing. We're waiting for an authorizing law. Right? So, hold on. Partners is texting me. Yeah. All right. So that's that. Let's come back. But just rather interesting that we see out in the wild here, Visa and MasterCard preparing. Everybody else around the world's preparing. America's just acting like we're not going that way. But we do need to support the bill, the Surveillance Act. We do need to support that bill. I think that's Ralph Emmer put that bill together. Yeah, that's Rep Emmer. Got to support that bill. All right, let's go. Let's go back. Fucking Hillary Clinton. I can't believe that. Can't believe people are talking about that. All right, here we go. So AI updated today. Shout out to Syscoin. Daily AI update. Says here, Meta is paying millions to celebrities like Tom Brady, Snoop Dogg, Paris Hilton, and Charlie D'Amelio. Now, we covered this already. Remember we talked about this? So more information has come out to use their likeness for AI chatbots. Some creators receive around $5 million for 2 years of work. Arrangements are non-exclusive. Meta aims to introduce AI personal assistants and AI characters like Max the sous chef and Lily, a personal editor. The move targets younger audiences and leverages AI advancements. Now, this is interesting, right? Keeping kids engaged online, is that something we really want to do? I don't think that's something we want to do. That's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. Targets younger audiences. Why would we want to do that? Why would we want to do that? Leave the kids alone. But here we are. So I'd like to know, in the chat, I'd love to know in the comments, what are some put your tinfoil kufi on for a second. What could go wrong here? What is up with this? For me, I think it's about, what if the avatar replaces the person? What if the avatar replaces the person? And I don't mean in a literal sense. I mean it like period. Like people decide they no longer want to interact with humans and all of their friends are bots. That is concerning. That is going to be concerning. And they don't have to be Snoop Dogg, whatever. That is going to be absolutely concerning. There's a whole lot of, I'll give you another take. There's going to be a whole lot of pornographic material using AI. People are going to be taking all types of people, like, depending on who you sell your likeness to or don't sell your likeness to, your body could end up in a porno. That's kind of wild. And I know I'm stretching it beyond what's actually happening here with Meta. But I want to know your 10-4 Koofy take. Let's go to the chat. Tari said the headline is a bit deceiving. What headline is a bit deceiving? What are you talking about? What headline? Where we at? This changes image and likeness forever. Yeah, it does. It definitely changes image and likeness forever. Jabari, thanks for the super chat. He said HJ's internet is on Dr. Umar's time now.
Oh, this a real Hotep brother.
It does change image and likeness forever. Some rather interesting implications. And they could also possibly lose their right of ownership with some of these deals. Then they could use your voice forever. Yeah. You hear some artists are like selling their catalog. And so currently the AI doesn't write the music. The music is still written and performed by an individual. So, I don't know how entertaining a hologram image is going to be as compared to a person, because the image hologram isn't going to fall and trip over cables, fall over off the stage. It's not going to get bottles thrown at it. It's not going to knock somebody out in the crowd. These are things that only a person is going to be involved with, right? So, if we're going to really have that rock star lifestyle, because there's a lifestyle and all this stuff that comes along with it. I just don't know how much of the artist it'll be able to replace. I think they will try to replace it in, licensing out to movies and TV, etc. I think they'll absolutely license it out for those purposes. And even for, elevator music, club music. What's that record pool that they use? I forget the name of the record pool, but just licensing music out and just, there's tons of different ways to make money off of music. So, Cliff said, just putting faces to all the Twitter bots. I like that. Oh, shit. He said, what? I guess Taylor Swift wasn't happy about the Soros buying her catalog. Did she sell her catalog? They about to make money off her voice. I don't know. The only thing I might entertain is, and I still don't like it, is AI to transcribe my book into audiobooks into my voice. That would be interesting. Do my books in my voice. I don't have to do it. That would be, I would entertain that. But again, it's a slippery slope. OpenAI is considering making its own AI chips or acquiring a chip company due to shortage of quality AI chips. Now, you guys know these AI chips, those things are coming out of NVIDIA and AMD. AMD, Bitcoin runs on AMD sometimes. Video games run on AMD, like your PlayStation, your Xbox. They run on AMD. AMD is a good buy. NVIDIA is a good buy. I mean, those are just two good buys. If somebody asks you, what stocks would you have in your portfolio, I would say I would definitely have those two in my portfolio. It's a shortage. Like, it's just telling you, like, there's massive demand for chips. So OpenAI has made so much money that they're going to start making chips, which, I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes, but yeah. To me, I think the shortage on chips has a lot to do with the silicon or whatever. the parts to make up the chip. So I don't know how they're going to compete in a market that already has a shortage of those supplies and make those connections with suppliers. But I'm sure China will whip up something. But yeah. I remember when Kamar was building my shit, I had to wait. We had to wait because that's another thing. If you hit the link in the description box below, you could buy a computer, like a really strong computer for not a lot of money. It's real high-end shit because, it's being built custom. Kamar makes computers. Link in the description box below. You can probably order one from him. Yeah. Because, if you wait till you need it, you might have to wait for the chip. It's just how it is. Jay's World said, I was listening to the Patriot Report yesterday. Fire.
Oh, this a real Hotep brother.
Being AI can translate your book into audio form. Lord Jesus. Well, yeah, I want it in my voice though. That's the slippery slope I'm talking about. So obviously I whipped up a little AI art. Here's Snoop Dogg. I used ChatGPT to make this. Not version 4, the free version. I had it generate me a prompt for Snoop Dogg here. And this is what it whipped up. And I popped it into Midjourney. I got a tutorial on that. That's on the locals, hotepjesus.locals.com. I got a tutorial on how I do that. So if you want to learn how, sign up to my locals. Also, my YouTube members have access to that video as well. Appreciate you. All right, let's get to the nitty gritty. You know what I like to talk about. Let's talk about them banks. But before we get into that, I want to show you something from yesterday. Look at this. Look at just this. Look at this guy. This. I tried. And he just wants to be obtuse. So remember the video I made about the Speaker of the House, right? I say he didn't pass the smell test because the 1-to-1 reserve versus the 0-to-1 reserve. So this guy, Whiskey Jack, I love a good, intellectual debate. So he said, yeah, but all right, so let me give you full context. So Patrick McHenry introduced the Clarity for Stablecoins Act of 2023. One of the stipulations in there is that stablecoins must have a 1-to-1 reserve ratio backed by the dollar or liquid asset, equivalent liquid asset, basically, right? All right, cool. However, the Federal Reserve, as of the pandemic, has said that financial institutions need zero reserves. Okay, cool. So we have 100% compared to zero. It's vast disparity, right? Now, I don't have a problem with saying that the stable coin should be backed 1-to-1. I have no problem with that at all. All I'm doing is pointing out hypocrisy, like my video says. So this guy says, yeah, but you do have to admit this is a false equivalency because banks have FDIC insurance. If they lose your money, then you're covered up to a certain amount with stable coins. Wait, I'm sorry. Because banks have FDIC insurance, if you lose your money, then you're covered up to a certain amount. But with stable coins, how many people lose all their money off of these things, which most are pump and dump scams? Okay. Now, stable coins currently, nobody's lost money unless they sold, at least on Tether. On Tether, if you sold when it decoupled, then you lost money. If you didn't, then it repegged and you still had money, right? So anyway, the FDIC insurance, that's basically called taxpayer money. I don't know if he knows that. However, this is what you call just like moving the goalpost. This is what you call moving the goalpost. Because all I'm pointing out is hypocrisy within the government. That's all I'm doing, right? So he says the FDIC, Okay. So I said you missed a point. He said, no, I didn't. Your point was that stable coins have to have a 1-to-1 ratio. Banks do not. Correct. My point was that banks have FDIC insurance and stablecoins do not. That's why they don't have to carry a one-to-one. One of the reasons, anyways. Respond to that instead of gaslighting. I say you still missing the point. I understand about FDIC insurance. FDIC insurance didn't help us in 2008. It didn't help SVB Bank. It didn't help FTX. What are you talking about? Like, he keeps bringing up this, like, I hate when people bring up this FDIC. FDIC shit don't mean nothing, bro. I'm telling you, that's nothing. Yes, you are covered. You know, I think it's up to $250,000 as an individual. Speculators lose out. There are financial repercussions within the market that we're not discussing, right? We're just talking about, you know, people getting their money back. People getting their money back is a lot different than people living under Bidenomics because the market has been shaken. Those two things are completely different, right? So he's talking about in the case of a collapse, if the stablecoin collapse or if the banks collapse, both of those things are going to have reverberations. The difference is if a stablecoin collapse, only a few people will be hurt, like 2%. And all those people pretty much can afford to get hurt. Okay? Because the people with money aren't using stable coins. Like, most people are not using stable coins. Like, what's the adoption on a stable coin right now? But the adoption of the US dollar is ubiquitous. They have a monopoly over our lives. And you're talking about FDIC insurance, bro? We talking about our lives, bro. Do you know what happens when the Fed fucks up? Do you know what happens when the banks mess up? You know what happens when the economy goes through a jerking motion? You gonna pay for that. FDIC insurance can't pay for inflation, bro. FDIC insurance can't pay for it. He said, look at FDIC rate. It's like 1%. Yeah. They go, Unc. Oh, his internet work now? Shout out to Unc. Yeah, because we ain't talking about dating white women. Every time you talking about dating white women, the internet went out. They trying to tell your ass something. Here he go. Still not responding to the fallacy you made. What fallacy? The hypocrisy? Acting like I missed the point. Instead of showing you how you were wrong doesn't make you right. Where am I wrong? Tell me what your point was since I missed it. Something tells me, though, you're not going to. You're just going to dodge it to make excuses. So I said, I'm talking about reserve requirements. You're talking about events following a run. Two different conversations, right? FDIC insurance is not there just for a run. Oh, my God. Jesus Christmas. Is he not paying attention? Have we not gone over what happened with SVB? Have we not gone over what happened with FTX? Two of the largest bank runs? Let me ask Google AI, largest bank runs. FDIC. Largest bank run. Because the other one was, I forget the, all right, damn, Wiki has a page on it. Wiki has a page on it. Oh, here it goes. You know it's bad when Wiki got a whole page on it. Like, this is what I be saying, like, are people paying attention? Because we talking about destabilization. These banks right here, SVB right here, failed when a bank run was triggered. The bank's clientele was primarily technology companies, wealthy individuals, large holdings, but balances exceeding $250,000 were not insured by the FDIC, right? So remember I told you the threshold is $250,000, right? I told you, okay. Silvergate Bank, Signature Bank, all of them had exposure. There's another one in here. The Federal Reserve established a bank term funding program to offer loans up to 1 year to eligible depository institutions. All right, so look at this right here. This is what I'm talking about. When I say it's like, it's much different, like what a stable coin can do to a market. Look at what happens when the banks mess up. It says here, to prevent the situation from affecting more banks. That means it's going viral, right? Global industry regulators including the Federal Reserve, the Bank of Canada, Bank of England, Bank of Japan, European Central Bank, and Swiss National Bank, intervened to provide extraordinary liquidity. See what I'm saying? So they was like, oh, another excuse to print more money. What do you think is going to happen once they print all these different countries print more money? Fed throwing in money, Bank of Canada. Bailouts, right? First Republic Bank. This is the one I always forget. I always forget the name of this one because it starts with an F, and I always want to say like First Fidelity. First Republic Bank right here, right? Soon after the bank run of SVB, depositors quickly began withdrawing cash from San Francisco Bank, First Republic. This is what I'm saying when it goes viral. When a bank run goes viral, it don't affect just that one bank. It don't affect that just one bank. Depositors was looking at SVB and they was like, oh, snap. I could lose my money. I'm taking it out of my bank. Because he's like, yo, my bank might have exposure to some of those assets as well. So he's saying I'm missing the point, but it's a whole education he got to get. And I'm trying to show it to him. That's why I said right here, what did I say? I said, stable coins have been, no, I said, you're talking about events following a run, right? Once the FDIC is in, we talking about a run. It's a run on the bank. That's what causes banks to fail. Nothing makes a bank fail other than a run. Like, what are we doing here? So it tells me he's probably a Fed. I think he's a Fed. So he said FDI insurance is not there just for a run. It's there for all kinds of different things that insure your money. Hold on. That insure your money in the bank. I'm trying to explain to you why stablecoins have a one-to-one because they do not have that insurance. They have nothing to back up funds. I said stablecoins have been having issues because of runs. Still, I'm not talking about that. I'm referring to the contrast between 100% and 0% reserve on requirements. He says, I know, and I'm explaining to you why stablecoins have. Oh, all right, bro. All right, never mind, man. Never mind. Just some people you just can't help. We just can't help them, you know, because it's too much education. I gotta like catch you up on like what happened this year, let alone what happened years ago. Anyway, don't forget, we got some pretty cool stuff coming, some technology coming that's going to allow you to stake. You'll be able to stake on Uncle Hotep. You'll be able to stake on Canny. You'll be able to stake on Hotep Jesus. We might get Goldstein involved. You'll be able to stake on these creators and the content they create, and they're going to have their own private community, and everybody's going to get paid from this as long as everybody does what they're supposed to do, right? So if you believe in that, if you believe in your content creators, there's something cool coming. Hit that link in the description box below. Access the airdrop group. Once you get to the Telegram, hit the pinned tweet. It'll tell you more about it. And yeah, go from there. It takes about 2 seconds if you have the app. If not, download the Telegram app. Stop being a boomer. All right, let's go back. All right, so it says here, CBDC updated today. Shout out to Syscoin. The European Central Bank faces resistance from EU lawmakers on the CBDC plans. Lawmakers want more clarity and have concerns about the cost for banks and privacy risks. ECB President Christine Lagarde assured no immediate digital euro launch, but opposition may delay the project's progress. So the lawmakers, shout out to Parliament.
Oh, this a real Hotep brother.
Slowing down the CBDC. So, but again, what does she say here? No immediate digital euro launch. Isn't that what the Federal Reserve in the United States said? Oh, we have no plans for a launch. Euro's taking a similar position. Bank of Canada. Actually, no. Let's do Bank of Canada first. Both of these are just terrible. Bank of Canada discussion paper identifies 3 types of inclusion necessary for universal accessibility: financial, digital, and practical. delivering services that address specific groups' needs like rural populations, indigenous communities, low-income families, people with disabilities. So basically what they're saying, they're having difficulties, right? This is a failed program. Saying that the CBDC is not going to create any sort of financial, digital, or practical inclusion. It's going to fail in that mission. Specifically, rural populations, indigenous populations, low-income families, and people with disabilities. That's what this paper says. Okay? That's crazy. I should have linked to the paper. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get it for y'all right now. Hold on. Here it goes. All right. Says right here. Contrast earlier paper. Right here. Here's the earlier paper. Right. Let me see. Right here. Discussion paper. Right here. Oh, it's all on the Bank of Canada website. Yeah, so I guess an earlier paper. I think some of the issues are internet. I think basically what they're saying is people are too dumb to be able to adopt the CBDC. That's basically what they're saying. When really the conversation should be, well, let's look at what happened in Nigeria and how the CBDC failed in Nigeria. That's really what we want to take a look at. I'll find that. Oh, my bad. I didn't type in Nigeria. No. See, they gonna. Here we go, right here. Shout out to the Mises Institute. I showed this the other day. Here we go, right here. You see my highlights still there. How a CBDC created chaos and poverty in Nigeria. It's on Mises. It's the only place that really covered it. We got May, Nigeria uptake disappointingly low, right? This is how the centralbanking.com worded it. May 23rd, 2023. So we got May updates. We don't really have anything else. Mises, September 1st. Right? And when you dive into the Mises paper, what did the Mises paper say? Mises paper says here, 99.5% of the citizens voted against digitalization of the currency. Then when you look at it, it talks about right here, poor Nigerians survived for 3.5 months without money, reserves, or any help of the state. People were left out to dry. They had to go back to a barter system. When the CBDC came back to Nigeria, they had to go back to the barter system. I should do a video on this. Nigeria, hold on, I gotta do a video on this one. Nigeria CBDC fail. I gotta do a video on this. This one needs a video. Nigeria CBDC fail. This is why you gotta write shit down right when you get it. Project Hotep Jesus. Save. All right. I gotta do a video on that. That one needs a clip. This is very important. Anyway, let's go back. So, Canada, RIP Canada. Canada got a CBDC coming. Shout out to Jonah. Shout out to Alex. All my Canadian. Who else is up there? Who else is up there? All right, let's take a look at Argentina. Argentina is going to affirm some things for us. We're going to go to the phone lines. Text Hotep in your name to 202-596-5631. Text Hotep in your name to 202-596-5631. Text Hotep in your name there. And we'll go to phone lines in about 4 minutes. Juan Agustin Dienteles Noguera, I don't know how to say that, a director of Argentina's central bank, highlights the CBDC's traceability as a means to what? Broaden the tax base and improve the nation's monetary situation, coexisting with cash before full replacement. Full replacement. You see that? Full replacement. So Nigeria better get low, because when they do full replacement, you see who they squeezing out. You see what happened in Nigeria when they did a full replacement. Got squeezed out. Okay. But let's come back to the most important part here. Broaden the tax base. Broaden the tax base. You see that right there? Remember, many speculators, many of the people who were suspicious of the CBDC have said how you do your taxes will change with the CBDC. They ain't gonna need you. They're not gonna need you to submit anything. They're not going to need you to submit a damn thing. They're going to send you a form. I'm sorry. They're going to send you I don't know. What kind of document would that be? I don't know, like a receipt? They're just going to send you a receipt. Like, thank you for the payment. You'd be like, what payment? I didn't make no payment. They're just going to send you a receipt. Every year you're gonna get your tax receipt. You know that thing you used to call it? What do they call it? A tax refund? Yeah. Now you're gonna get a tax receipt. Brought in the tax bases right there in Argentina. This is a main talking point in the Argentina elections. I can't stop hammering that home. This is a main talking point in Argentina. In America, we concerned with that old white lady. In Argentina, they worry about that guala. They worried about that money. Broaden the tax base. They want to broaden the tax base. I don't make the news. I just report it. You know? Of course, you know, my AI, my little AI cryptocurrency art. I'm about to, I didn't make this one with ChatGPT. I made this one myself. I got to figure out a formula for ChatGPT to create. I got to think of one. And that's why I said people when talking about AI, and it's like, there's still a very much a human element, you know, because, you know, it's only going to do what you can tell it to do, but there's still a human element to creating a formula. Because if you watch my video on my locals, you actually create a formula and then give it to ChatGPT and it'll automatically use that formula going forward. Anyway, let's go to the phone lines. 202-596-5631. I'll see you after this short, brief commercial break.